And hello, welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I am Daren Jaime. Today, we'll update you on what's happening in and around our borough and New York City. Coming up, we'll explore how one organization is effectively educating voters about their candidates and elected officials. Next, we'll sit down with a photographer who is showcasing diverse stories and voices from individuals living in a stateless area near the Orinoco River, border between Colombia and Venezuela. And then May marks National Nurses Month. We'll delve into the crucial role of the nurses and community health challenges that they encounter daily right here in the borough of the Bronx. And then following that, we'll learn about a campaign focused on Army civilian careers and how military skills can impact civilian professions. And later on in the show, we have a conversation with a registered dietitian nutritionist about the health benefits of consuming wild-caught seafood. If you think you got wild-caught seafood, you think it's good for you, we'll give you all the information in a little while. So stay tuned because all this and much more is heading your way. Right now, we're officially open. Hello, everyone. I'm Daren Jaime. You are now watching Open, a live program bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We also want to welcome our viewers to the Manhattan Neighborhood Network, as Open is being broadcast simultaneously on MNN's channels. You can stay connected to us on all of our social media platforms at BronxNet TV. Well, some things have been going on through the past week. We'll take you through it with our Bronx updates. As Bronxites continue to deal with an uptick in crime, we start with community news. New anti-crime cameras have been installed in the BronxNet section of the Bronx. Our BronxNet reporter Brittany Schuyler brings us the details.
In the BronxNet section of the Bronx, new anti-crime cameras have been installed in its business improvement district. The NYPD says the cameras will be installed to curb the ongoing illegal activity in the neighborhood.
Since we're now watching you, we will be getting rid of you.
Bob Jean, executive director of the BronxNet bid, acknowledges that the area is on the safer side. However, with the recent increase in illegal smoke shops, dumping, and even speeding, they want to put an end to the situation before it becomes too dangerous to handle.
Don't ever underestimate what an illegal process can bring to a beautiful neighborhood. It's like a cancer. It's like a fungus. You don't get rid of it, it grows.
Although the exact location of these cameras cannot be disclosed, Johnny Orleana, NYPD Deputy Inspector, mentioned the dozens of security cameras installed within the last month are spread out on East Tremont from Bruckner Boulevard to Miles Avenue.
We have the most sophisticated now, and we have more coming, but we have the most sophisticated, upgraded Argus camera system in the borough, if not the 5 boroughs.
Reporting for BronxNet, Brittany Schuyler.
And thank you, Brittany. In other news, the Bronx Night Market celebrates its 5th active year as being a part of Bronx Week, bringing together thousands of attendees to celebrate the borough's culinary scene in spirit. Our BronxNet reporter, Chris Camillo, is there with more details.
The Bronx Night Market is a flagship event of the annual Bronx Week, and this year it's taken over the Grand Concourse, showcasing the best of the borough's culinary scene and spirit. With a lineup of over 50 local vendors and live music, this iconic market brings in thousands of guests each year, making it a thriving hub for community engagement and exploration of the best of the Bronx. Residents and visitors pass one another in two-way lanes down Grand Concourse, savoring the flavors, cultures, and entrepreneurial spirit.
What a day, what a blessing to be able to be part of this Bronx Week event, selling my food at the Bronx Night Market here on the Grand Concourse, right up the block from Yankee Stadium, selling traditional Puerto Rican frituras. This one I have right here is called the bacalaíto, better known as the codfish fritter. You find these at the kioscos at the beaches in Puerto Rico or at Mia's Cocina. Take a look.
The market is a transformative force, constantly revolutionizing the food scene and cultivating a deep connection to the identity of the Bronx. Even New York representatives such as Landon Days are in attendance, highlighting the importance of supporting local businesses and celebrating the community's creativity.
The Bronx is open for business. It's a beautiful place. Come shop at our businesses. Come to Joyce Gilman Park. Enjoy our festivities here in the Bronx because the Bronx is beautiful.
Beyond its far variety of cuisines and vendors, the Bronx Night Market serves as a dynamic platform for local businesses. The current setting, District 16, sets the stage for this year's festival, part of NYC Councilmember Althea Stevens' revitalization process, which she says events like this reflect the success of the project.
This event means community. As folks know, if you come out right now, it's a beautiful day. It's a lot of activity. Like I said, there's a band, there's good food. We have the park right here. So families should definitely come out and have a great time.
With so many vendors and organizations showing up today, it's really a reminder of just how huge this borough is. This is a rich representation of diversity found only here at the Bronx Night Market. Reporting from BronxNet, I'm Chris Camella.
Now, Chris knows he's dead wrong for that. We don't do that at the beginning of the show when we've got a whole lot of show ahead of us. You do that at the end of the show so we can do it all together. That's a lesson for you, Chris. Thanks a lot. Listen, that's all the time we got for our Bronx updates. We got to take a quick break, but guess what? We got more open when we return.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Kat from the Kitty Rose Lifestyle, also from The Next Chapter, where we discuss shades of gray every week right here at BronxNet, Saturdays at 11 p.m. Wow, 30 years. 30 years of BronxNet public access television. I'm a girl from Brooklyn and came to the Bronx 25 years ago, started my journey on BronxNet on public access television in 2016, and BronxNet is where I got my start. BronxNet, I feel like, is a home away from home. They support all of my endeavors, and I wouldn't have been able to be on any of the other channels if it wasn't for the fundamentals that I learned right here at my start here at BronxNet. So I am so appreciative. My son says I should stop telling people I'm from Brooklyn because I've been here now, Bronx Strong, for 22 years. So I'm so grateful, and I wish you much success in 30 years, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30 more, because public access is necessary so that people like myself can have a voice. Yes, BronxNet, it's your girl Kat from Kitty Rose. Check me out every Saturday at 11 p.m. right here, Channel 68, The Next Chapter, where we discuss shades of gray. Mwah.
And we are back. Know Your Politician is not just another political platform. It's a solution to becoming more knowledgeable and engaged with your local politics in an easy and a digestible way. Joining me now is the co-founder of Know Your Politician, Evan Higgins. And first of all, I want to wish you a happy birthday.
Oh,
Congratulations. Thank you for spending your birthday with me. I feel honored.
No, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Listen, it's great to have you. I want to talk a little bit about this because as we approach these elections, this is probably one of the most important and crucial elections, not just in national government, but also in local government as well. We find that so many times that voter turnout isn't what it is. And sometimes people who have a propensity of being that favorite now turns into, being a person that's at home simply because they fail to engage with their constituency. And I know it's a little bit about what you do with Know Your Politician, really connecting politicians, or not even politicians, community to the politician.
Right, exactly. So we started the platform in 2020. It was an idea. Watching people protest in the streets of George Floyd, it was magical to see, but we felt that there needed to be more direct action than putting our bodies on the line. So my co-founder, Kabir, and I, we decided to bring up this idea we had way back in 2016 about how can we be able to learn about our officials in a way that 30 seconds or less, I can get a quick spiel around what this person stands for, who represents them in my area, and what's going to be on my ballot in the upcoming election.
Is that what people really are wanting to know in terms of the public? Because there's that big disconnect there, and they don't know their politician. What is it that you think makes the difference for a community member to know about their elected leader, even though we know the elected leader is elected to serve the community, and that's and that bridge there needs to be built?
When we started focus group testing the app, one of the main things that we stumbled upon was just the lack of education. People didn't even know where to start. And there was this constant comment around feeling overwhelmed, and that's why people disengage. You see it in all walks of life, right? When you feel overwhelmed in something, people decide, you know what, I'm not going to engage because I don't want to spend the time or energy. So Know Your Politician is about saving that time, not only helping you understand who your elected officials are, but educating you. One of the most interesting things that I learned in talking to electeds about this platform is how easily accessible they are and how that access can shift the Overton window on a whole host of issues. One person I spoke to in Massachusetts frequently referenced the Boston election race a few years ago. The difference between first and second place was less than 3,000 votes. All it took was to get 3,000 people to the polls, and you could have shifted an entire outcome of an election. And what we want to do here at Know Your Politician is be able to connect those people that have the ability to shift the elected's point of view on topics by showing them, hey, these people are easily accessible. When we look at people on TV, we constantly think that, you know, there's aura, celebrity around them, but actually our electeds are normal people just like us. They have phone numbers, they have email addresses, and our platform can connect you with them so you can address your concerns directly if you're elected.
You know, as we get ready to talk about this upcoming election, it's going to be a lot of all eyes on the community, whether or not that turnout is actually going to be there. From your perspective, the impact, if you will, of really coming out and voting in a time such as this?
Well, I personally think that voting is easily the most important thing that we can do as a society. That's why there's been push throughout the decades to have women vote, have people of color vote, because our ability to vote, no matter how much money is spent on elections, those people still need to vote. And those dollars are aimed at reaching us. So at the end of the day, no matter how they can raise millions and millions of dollars as a candidate, they still require your vote. And that means that you have sway and you have power, and you need a way to harness that. And our thesis is by educating you, you can then figure out the best ways to harness that power.
Evan, a little while ago, you referenced George Floyd and how huge those protests were. People coming out in mass droves, nationally, internationally, and the response that it generated, but not just the response that it generated, but the effect and the change that occurred as opposed to people taking to the streets. When you're out there right now and you're looking and seeing still what's going on in the community, talk to me about that engagement, that civic engagement, because part of your job is also, you know, sharing with people about the importance of civic engagement.
Yeah, I think what we've been finding is as national issues crop up, the last one that I can think about was the Roe v. Wade issue, and now you're seeing it with the protests on Colombia around the U.S. approach to Palestine and Israel. What you're seeing is these moments are like flash pans that cause people to understand, what are my elected officials doing? So in George Floyd, right, when people were protesting, something that really caught my eye was that a lot of people were basically doxing the candidates to say, hey, you're coming out and saying that you are supporting the protest, but then you took money from the Police Benevolence Association. Those two ideas conflict with each other. And it's, to me, those moments are what push to get greater legislation done, because that's how you hold our electeds accountable. Yes, it's important to march, but it's marching plus making sure you understand how the system works so you can use it to your advantage.
You talked about something real important, who's donating the campaign. That's really critical. Sometimes we don't even know that whole who's donating to a campaign. How do you go about educating your constituents in the community to say, listen, it's important to know that these people have donated to this campaign and these two things don't really go together?
Well, on our roadmap, what we want to do is be able to integrate the candidate profile with donation data. So these information is publicly available for everyone to consume. It's just obviously it's very large. So what we want to be able to do is be able to connect it to our system so that when users come to the platform, they can see who are the top contributors to a candidate or an election campaign. And then we're hoping that by seeing that information and looking at the position of the elected, you can then see, hey, if I am pro-choice, I should be receiving money from Planned Parenthood and other organizations that support pro-choice and not organizations that are against it, right? We don't want to tell you who to vote for, but we want to present the information so that you can make the connection. And by having you make the connection, it's more genuine, right? Because if someone tells you something, you're gonna be like, you know, like that's just their opinion, that's just how they feel.
Yeah. What's the response you've gotten on both sides?
It's been positive. Like everyone agrees, no matter what, whether you're left-leaning or right-leaning, that this is necessary. That no one understands the elected process. Everyone feels that it's not as transparent, and quite frankly, it's difficult to understand and get information to be ready to go to the polls. So everyone has been super supportive of the platform, whether they're leaning right or left.
Yeah. For people who want to get the app, talk to us about it.
Yeah, so you can go to our website. It's timetokyp.com. You just go there, enter your address. For those folks that are watching that aren't in the 5 boroughs, it's available across the United States as well.
Evan, well, thanks so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
And again, happy birthday, and keep up the great work, brother.
Thanks, appreciate it.
All righty. Now listen, again, if you want more information, go ahead and visit the website, time2kyp.com, and then follow them on social media at time2kyp. Don't go anywhere. We got more Open coming up right after this.
Thank you, BronxNet. Congratulations on 30 years. What an amazing accomplishment. On behalf of myself, Alina Dow, and I represent the Dow Twins and the Dow Twins Show, who are young producers. They started, I think, when they were 11, and now they're 14. They started making 30-second little fun facts, and now they are doing 30-minute shows. And it goes to a testament of how much you guys do in the Bronx to make young people want to continue to be involved. I wish you 30 more amazing years and beyond. Thank you for what you do.
Only 57% of New York City high school students are college ready by their senior year. .55% of high school graduates either have no plans to attend college or are uncertain that they will ever attend. .34% of young adults don't go to college because they can't afford it. Discover what's possible. BronxNet's education programs, internships, and opportunities help engage and inspire Bronx youth and beyond to pursue their passions. Be a part of the BronxNet family. Whether you're interested in our shows, joining a class, or donating to support our mission, visit BronxNet.org to learn more.
And we are back. Waterboarder delves into the life along the Colombia-Venezuela border near the Orinoco River. The visual and literary essay uncovers untold tales of diverse voices from this borderland, where the border seems alive, reflecting the lives it touches. Here now to tell us more is photographer Juanita Escobar. And Juanita, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. I wish I would be there physically.
I wish you were here physically too, but you know, you're the photographer, you got pictures, you can make things come to life, and so glad to have you with us, and thank you for sharing. Talk to us a little bit about the waterboarder and what we should know.
And what?
And what we should know.
Okay, this project The water border is the border between Colombia and Venezuela, marked by the Orinoco River. It's like 300 kilometers of the border. The border between Colombia and Venezuela is huge. It's almost 3,000 kilometers. But here we are talking about a particular border. Is like the Orinoco border, and is like a particular cultures living here, like almost 7 different indigenous languages, and kind of a really isolated area from Colombia. No, so it's the most isolated area of the border.
And you tell a story about indigenous women and their really fascinating story. When we think about the indigenous women, what comes to mind that we should know about?
I think there is no indigenous like people or women in general. There is like people marked by a geography, by a specific geography, and they are like very different indigenous people from the mountains. And if you compare to the women to the indigenous women living at the Orinoco, they are really, really different in terms that they are semi-nomadic lifestyle. They live mainly from the river, from fishing and hunting. And so it makes like they are not like that established cultures. So that represents also like a risk, because when these communities arrive to the port, to the most populated ports at the Orinoco, they have like this encounter or this crash with the white population and with its dynamics. So there is like a really tricky situation for women arriving there because of the prostitution of the drug addict for their children. So it means like a really different lifestyle that arriving to the most populated places, it represents a really like risky situation, and without taking care, the state it doesn't take care of this encounter, no?
Yeah. So for yourself, you were able to really capture the life and all that goes on along the border. I understand that you rode horseback for a while, up and down, being able to capture the story.
Yeah, I've been living to arrive there to the Orinoco previous to know the Orinoco. I was living at the Orinoco region, but not at the Orinoco River. I was living at the Orinoco savannas, and I was like horse riding for almost 7-8 years, doing like my first book. So this project took me to the Orinoco. But at the Orinoco is mostly, there is no like horses there, but it's almost everything by water. There is no roads. Everything is like water life. Yeah.
And when you saw the life over there, you saw a community and a community within a community. For somebody who may not be so familiar, what was one of the biggest things that stood out to you about the culture that maybe we don't know?
I think living probably each night or each day passing in a different riverbank, and that you are not established as we are. No, we have like many security things, and we know that our home is there, and we will arrive, and we will eat this, and with some schedule. There is no like this kind of schedule at the Orinoco. Everything is like marked by the waters, and there is like 6 months rainy season and 6 months of dry season, and it really marked the way the people live, move. So going and fishing and hunting with them, it was like a really, really different for me, no? And amazing, no?
Yeah. Let me share what I have here. It says, you know, for some, the border is the limit between Colombia and Venezuela. For others, it's an encounter with colonizers and their discrimination.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to say I tried to say in the first answer, that even if all the borders are really in word are really like tricky, and the human is like represents like the limits in our humanity. But there, I think the body of the woman, they embody the most difficult part of these borders, because even it's worse the situation for women than for men, because of the prostitution that I just said. And it's not the prostitution in general, but we are talking about a specific indigenous people that their daughters and their children, women from 9 years old, are taken from their communities to this body exploitation. So this is like a really tricky encounter with the colonization. This is completely colonization mark, no?
Yeah. And so for yourself, you have an opportunity to have your work that's going to be viewed. It'll be viewed from May the 3rd to June the 9th, and it's Thursday and Friday, 3 to 7 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 5 p.m. At the BDC Annex on East 151st Street. For yourself, people now being able to see your work, that's got to be a great feeling, not just to see your work, but also to tell the story.
Yeah, and I think the deep work, or the deep think about this work, is not just like a reportage, like showing how they live, but I really lived there for 5 years, and I still going there, and I still working there, and I live with women for 4 years, and trying to tell not just about their actions, but their intimacy, their feelings. So you will face in this exhibition not just like a landscape, like a souvenir or like a wonderful landscape, but an emotional landscape. And to see how the water, the mountains, the fish are really close and related to the human emotions of these women. So it's like a portrait of the river and a portrait of woman that is mixed. It's not like separated. So this is like an important thing to say about this essay.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us and being with us. Juanita Escobar, photographer. Again, thank you for joining us. Now, if you want more information, please visit the website at bronxdoc.org. Also, JuanitaEscobar.format.com. And, of course, if you want, again, the BDC Annex 364 East 151st Street in the Bronx, Thursday and Friday, 3 to 7 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 5. Encouraging you to go. And I'm encouraging you also, don't go anywhere, because we got more open coming up right after this.
Here at the Bronx, we've been able to feature lots of great artists, performers, people who deal with coffee and small entrepreneurship businesses, discuss controversial topics, and also be able to share the voice of residents that might not normally have access without a place like BronxNet.
We are back. For decades, home care nurses in New York City's Bronx borough have been on the front line being caregivers to its residents. Whether by traveling by car, by bus, by foot, they tirelessly contribute to the health and well-being of our community, come rain or shine. And in honor of National Nurses Month, we're delighted to introduce you to two dedicated nurses from VNS Health who embody this commitment. Nicole Casiano and nurse Preceptor and Furdicia Morancie, registered home care nurse. Thank you both for joining us, and also happy National Nurses Month.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Glad to have you sharing with us. And I'll begin our conversation talking a little bit about where we are in society right now, because when I think about where we are, in this post-COVID season, a lot of people had to resort to telehealth and really looking on screen to have that visitation. But both of you really master in that in-person and really meeting the client in person. Talk to us about how in person is still valuable today.
So a lot of times the patients, like you said, during COVID, they had no one coming to them, and their care was very detrimental. We have patients from all walks of life, and background, health needs, ages. So they really need us to come in and make sure that they're getting care. Without us, a lot of times we don't know what will happen with these patients.
Yeah. And so, Nicole, walk us through a typical day for work for you.
So, as a preceptor, my day is pretty unpredictable. I have different nurses I work with in different areas, and I sort of help them plan their day, figure out where we're going to meet, what we're going to do together. And it's really exciting, actually, because I never know what it's going to be like. And I'm always meeting up with a different nurse and doing a different skill. And it's just fun to bring that energy to the job as somebody's learning it and developing their skill set.
Meeting patients where they are is so critical. I think that to have a nurse that comes to the door, talks to them, and not just talks to them, but really, helps them in the area of just health. And that's not just physical health, that's emotional health. Talk to me about that emotional component, because while you're also dealing with the physical, the emotional is also heavily present.
Yeah, definitely. We really address every part of the patient's life, and especially the emotional aspect. Actually, Furdicia has a patient that suffered something very traumatic recently, and she helped her through it.
Yes.
A patient lost her son, and it was very upsetting for her. She's dealing with her own health issues. And speak a little bit about that, because that was really amazing.
Yeah.
So sometimes in the hospital care and home care, it's different. Sometimes you don't see a patient from start to end. You don't get to connect with a patient. But in home care, we get to really see and understand and try to help patients work through not just the health part, as Nicole is saying, the emotional part. And that also can take a big toll on patients. That patient, she's really dear to me. She's a sweet little old lady, very sound in her mind. And to just see her, break down because she lost her only child and still having to deal with her health issues and go for the day to day. It touches my heart, and being there for her and her, being receptive and open to me in her home, because that's her comfort, and taking care of her and letting her know that someone's there for her really means a lot.
Yeah, for this, you talk about being at home. I want to ask that question because when we talk about home, sometimes people are not as friendly or as welcoming. I'll see you outside, but when it comes to home, opening the doors, what are the clients like these days? Are they a little bit more receptive to seeing visiting nurses come through their door?
For sure, they are. And a home is everywhere, really. We have patients in shelters. We have patients really everywhere across the Bronx. And like I said, sometimes we're the only person that this patient see throughout the entire week. And they will literally tell you, like I said, I don't know what will happen without you.
Yeah. Nicole,
So they're very receptive.
no, okay. I didn't want to cut you off. Thanks. You talk to me a little bit, Nicole, as you look around our community and you see a very diverse community. What are some of the challenges that are coming front and center that maybe we can pay attention to?
Actually, there really are very few challenges in home care. You just have to really want to be a part of the community and meet people where they are. I personally have been doing this over 16 years, and every day is wonderful. I just love this job. I love what we do. I love the community that we serve. It's so amazing to go into different cultural households and learn from them and help them manage their health and teach them something that they didn't know. So I wouldn't really say that we face that many challenges. You just have to have an adventurous spirit and a heart that wants to do right by the people that you're taking care of.
Furdicia, what got you involved in saying I want to be a nurse?
I I've seen family members be caretakers throughout my life, and I guess that made me gravitate towards it. I have a big heart. I have a lot of compassion, empathy to share, and I know what it feels like to, have no one there for you. So I want to be there for people.
Yeah. And what advice would you share with others who are considering possibly getting into the nursing profession? Some, view it as a high hurdle. Others are like, listen, this is exactly what I want to do. But for you who've been there, done that, got a T-shirt and still doing it, give us some helpful hints here.
I think it's worth it. I think it's not an easy career, and getting here is not easy, but it is well worth it, and nothing pays you back in more rewards and pleasure than this career.
Yeah.
Not easy, but it's worth it. Every single hard moment is worth it.
Yeah, Nicole, as soon as you said not easy and not, Furdicia was like shaking her head like, yeah, I 100%. I'm right here. I'm right here with you. Before we go, I want to share a little bit about this mental health component because I think it's very critical. When we visit a lot of people at home, we know that in addition to that physical need, the mental and the emotional. How prevalent are we seeing that in the patients that you're dealing with right now, particularly given the fact of economy, COVID, all the other things that we've got going on, polarization? Give me a little bit about how much more in your line of work are you having to deal with the mental health component as opposed to the other?
We have to deal with it quite a bit, but we have a lot of professional services that we can offer. I mean, we as nurses can identify it and we can, sort of help them with it, but we also have professionals that we work with in the organization that we can partner with to bring them the services that they need, and oftentimes right in the home setting where they're most comfortable and receptive.
So for somebody who's out there watching right now and they're thinking about, I think I want to do this, I might want to do this.
They should do it. They should do it. And I'll be their preceptor.
See, there you go. And for somebody who doesn't know what a preceptor is, real quickly, tell us again.
So a preceptor at VNS Health is a experienced RN that goes out into the field with you and helps you right out there with your patients, with your, other tasks that we do, and stays with you until you feel like you don't need me anymore. And even after, I'm still there for you, anytime. I'm there to support the nurses.
So Furdicia, you're saying that she's been with you for a minute, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's the feeling like actually having somebody actually be there and navigate that with you, given the fact that, there's a lot of pressure. I don't want to do anything wrong. I want to make sure I got everything right. What's the feeling like having somebody alongside of you?
It helps build your confidence in yourself and knowing that, yeah, I think I can do this, because Nicole has, helped me for a lot of challenges through the work. And it's like I can still call her any time of the day and she's always there. So
yeah. Well, again, in celebration of National Nurse Month, we want to say thank you both for the work that you're doing. Furdicia, keep up the great work, and Nicole, continue to keep inspiring young nurses to come on and be a part. You've already put the call out there and said, come on, so I'm going to give
Come on, nurses, we need you. The Bronx needs you.
And I'm going to do you one better, because I'm going to give the people the information on how to get there to you. So for people who are out there watching right now, if you want more information, please go ahead, visit the website, vnshealth.org, and then also call 1-800-675-0391, and you can get all the information that you need. We also encourage you, please don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.
Congratulations, BronxNet, on your 30th anniversary. Bronx Best is my show, and I had a great experience being able to bring my story to the Bronx Network. It's really changed my life, and I look forward to growing with the network, and I think that it's a wonderful place to grow and learn, and I think that everyone should take advantage of all the wonderful programs and things that go on here.
And welcome back. The Department of the Army has debuted its first ever campaign focused on Army civilian careers. Find Your Next Level demonstrates how today's workforce can actually bring their existing skills and abilities to a civilian career to support the Army mission. Here now to talk about the campaign and what it is like being an Army civilian is the Deputy Director of Veterinary Services at Joint Base San Antonio, Dr. John E. Deaton. And thank you so much, Dr. Deaton, for being with us.
Thank you, Daren. I really appreciate this great opportunity.
And thank you for your service, too. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Listen, so here you are talking about really having this concentration on becoming civilians. Why the importance of really taking a look at a campaign that's actually focusing on civilian life?
Well, we decided to start this campaign to raise awareness about the huge number of opportunities as an Army civilian, and also to emphasize how crucial Army civilians are to helping the Army meet their mission and maintain their readiness. And I think a lot of your audience may be surprised to learn that we have over 265,000 Army civilians serving today.
Amazing. That transition is pretty huge, going from, armed services to civilian life. How huge a transition is that?
Well, it's a big transition. I mean, I can speak to my experience. Back when I joined the Army shortly after high school, I served in the elite 1st 75th Ranger Battalion as a sniper. And you go from an environment of, very rigid regulations and rules to suddenly the civilian world where there aren't those rules. But the great thing is the Army teaches you so many life skills. They teach you discipline, drive, the desire to complete a mission, the ability to work well with others on a team, certainly leadership and the ability to follow leaders. So you do come out of the Army with amazing skills that help you transition back to the civilian sector.
Yeah. There's a couple of videos that are out there really promoting the campaign. For those who haven't got an opportunity to see, give us a little sneak peek as to a little bit about what the videos are saying to you.
Well, I'm sure they're talking about all the opportunities. I mean, so when you look at what we have, again, 265,000 teammates in the Army Civilian Corps, we have over 500 career paths. So we have virtually something for anyone. We have jobs that range from administrative assistants to mechanics to HVAC technicians to jobs in the medical field. We have attorneys, law enforcement. We have cybersecurity and IT. Again, over 500 career paths. So I really believe we have something that would fit just about anybody's passions and skill sets and help them achieve their goals in life and where they want to be.
And here you are, the Deputy Director of Veterinary Sciences at Joint Base San Antonio, but then yet and still a sniper. And that's a lot, to really look at one side of that career. Now to see yourself working in veterinary services. For the people who are making that transition, this campaign and what's going on right now, talk about really for them how easy and how simple it is, if you will, in many ways, to really be able to have some assistance to navigate them through that process, because doing it alone is certainly a challenge.
Well, it is. And throughout the entire process, we have people that help with that. And so the first thing is to go look and see if there's careers that you find, something you might want to pursue. Great place to start is armyciviliancareers.com. Amazing user-friendly website. It allows you to explore all the various career opportunities. And this website also has a very, very brief survey. It only takes a couple of minutes. And you basically answer questions about what your passions are, what your skill sets are, and what you want to do. And it'll help you narrow down that focus to a certain number of jobs. And when you find a career you might want to pursue, there's another website called usajobs.com. It allows you to look at all the opportunities and then upload your resume and apply. And then we have a human resources division that will, interact with those candidates. And ultimately, the supervisor will conduct interviews. And beyond that, it's pretty much like getting a job almost anywhere in the civilian sector.
Yeah. For yourself, obviously spending considerable time in the Army and then moving on now into veterinary services. The Army allows you the opportunity to learn a vast array of skills. What skills did you find immediately transferable to your work that you're doing right now?
Well, for me, both being in the military and then working in veterinary practices, owning a practice, and then being in corporate medicine for 10 years, I had a very strong background in leadership. I understood finance, contracting, budgeting, maintaining budgets. And I also have a strong background in adult education because we ran academies for our doctors and things like that. So when this job opportunity came up, it literally tied in directly with all of my passions and suited me just perfectly. And it's been a great run. I mean, I've been in this position now for 16 years, so I'm clearly still passionate about it and still love what I do, or I'd be doing something different.
Yeah. What challenges do soldiers face that maybe we're not familiar with?
Well, I mean, it's certainly a lot. They certainly have all the challenges that you and I have every day. I mean, you have, stress at work, things like that. You may or may not have a family and the stresses that can come with that. But soldiers certainly have to deal with moving to a new job site every 2 to 3 years. And that means uprooting their family and going where the Army needs them. It becomes a way of life, over the course of many years. And of course, potentially there's deployments and things of that nature where a service member could be away from their family for extended periods of time. But at the end of the day, when you talk to soldiers, they feel so good about serving this great nation. They're by and large, they're just proud to do it, no matter how tough it is. And that's a hallmark of wearing the uniform is you develop toughness and mental agility and resilience and you just get things done. And that's part of what helps you at the end of your career to transition so well to the slightly different challenges of being in the civilian sector and the private sector.
Yeah. And for yourself, what opportunities has the Army provided for you, or I should say your civilian career provided for you in the Army?
Well, again, it's allowed me to bring all the things I'm passionate about and all my pre-existing skill sets to play for the benefit of our nation. But it's also allowed me to go to continuing education programs, both within the Army and external to the Army. So I continue to improve my skill sets year on year, learn new things, learn new skills. And for me, just the joy of what we do here, which is training soldiers. Every time I see a graduation and I see those brand new young soldiers walk across the stage and receive their diploma, it just is uplifting. I'm so blessed to have this position. I feel great about what we do. And again, I've been doing it for an awfully long time, so I clearly love it.
Yeah. And really, when we look at 2024, we see right now 2024 and the soldier today versus maybe when you first started. What noticeable changes do you see, particularly in this civilian-soldier relationship?
That's a good question, because when I was in combat arms and special operations. We truly at that point had very little interaction with civilians. I mean, we knew they were around, you'd see them in, doing various jobs, but Ranger Battalion just didn't interact with them. And now in this job, for first place, we have a very polar opposite, focus, which as opposed to combat arms, now we're doing medicine. And we are very, very integrated, both military and civilian. So for example, my division has a roughly 50-50 breakdown of civilians versus military. And we have senior leaders that are civilians. We have senior leaders that are colonels in the Army. And the teams just interface really well and work together as a united team to get the mission done. And one of the great benefits that civilians bring to the Army is continuity. And that is so critical because as we mentioned, every 2-3 years, a soldier is going to move to another duty station. It could be across the state, it could be in Germany. But you have Army civilians that stay in positions typically for longer periods of time. And when you get your new cohort of military in, you've got the experience from doing the job for so long that you can really ease their transition into that next job in their military career.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us, Dr. John E. Deaton, Deputy Director of Veterinary Services at Joint Base San Antonio. Thank you again for your service, and thank you for also bridging the gap between both the civilian and the soldier. Thanks again. Good to have you.
Yes, sir, and thank you again for this great opportunity.
All righty. Listen, for more information, go ahead and visit the website at goarmy.org. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back more open coming up right after this.
Happy anniversary to BronxNet, 30 years. Wow, brings back so many memories. This exact studio that I'm in right now I broadcast out of here. This must have been around 2003. I mean, time flies by so quickly. I started out here, it was either Mr. Gary Axelbank and Mr. Batch with Lady Morsar. We used to do a show here called In the Neighborhood. And I brought so many different guests on this show. To be able to bring your voice to the community is very powerful. To bring hip hop and spirituality, I brought my pastor in this same studio, Pastor Gino Jennings, and I'm sure you guys know who Pastor Gino Jennings is. That's rough. And some disciplined teaching. BronxNet is something that we need to uplift our communities, because this is a platform that we can come, and if you have a vision that's in your mind going into your heart, you can use it to do uplifting things for your community.
And we are back. Did you know that 3 out of 5 Americans are uncertain about which seafood is sustainable? Well, research indicates 82% of consumers prefer wild and sustainable seafood, yet many still seek additional cooking ideas and guidance on selecting the best options for their plate. Now, joining us now, registered dietitian, nutritionist Roxana Ehsani, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great. I'm excited to have this conversation because a lot of people talk about wild and sustainable. And for the average person who may not know about wild and sustainable, how do we first of all define it?
Yeah, so wild and sustainable means that you're choosing seafood that has come from a natural environment. And Alaska has sustainability as part of their constitution. And all seafood that comes from Alaska is wild, natural, and sustainable.
And when we talk about being wild and sustainable, a lot of people are definitely going in that direction. When we talk about going in that direction, it's definitely a healthier benefit. Talk to us about the health benefits, particularly when you have wild and sustainable in your diet.
Yes, absolutely. There's so many. So it's a high quality source of protein. It's also a naturally occurring source of omega-3 fatty acids, EPA, and DHA, which support immune and heart health. And it also contains immune boosting vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, vitamin A, selenium, zinc, and glutamine. And emerging research is showing how healthy seafood from Alaska really is. It contains more of the nutrients that we want and less of the contaminants that we don't want, really making it a nutritious choice for the entire family.
Talk about choice. You know, there are a lot of choices out there. And when we talk about all these different choices out there, somebody can get something and really it may not be wild and sustainable. We see the knockoffs and we are not necessarily so sure as to what we're bringing home. What are the defining factors in knowing that you're bringing something that's wild and sustainable back into your home?
Yeah, so the easiest thing you can do is ask for Alaska. So when you're at the seafood counter at your local grocery store, ask for Alaska. Or if you're purchasing frozen or canned, look for Alaska on the packaging itself. Or if you're dining out, you can look for Alaska on the menu. This is really the easiest and simplest way to guarantee that you're purchasing wild and sustainably harvested seafood every time.
Yeah. And so when we're looking around, you know, trying to say about, I want to make the right decision. I want to make sure that I got my food right. I want to make sure that I'm doing this right. Give me some tips in terms of like preparing and getting that preparation in order, because that's pretty important as well.
Yeah, it's so easy to prepare seafood. You know, a lot of people think it's difficult or challenging to cook and prepare, when in reality, you can grill it, saute it, pan-sear it, fresh or frozen, and you can have a meal on the table in 15 minutes. So it's really one of the fastest and easiest proteins that you can whip up. And if you absolutely have no time, you can always open up a can of wild Alaska salmon and add it to finished dishes like a salad, grain bowl, or cooked pasta, for example.
Give me an idea. You got some recipes there you can share?
I do. I have 2 quick and easy recipes that are perfect for summer grilling season. My first one is wild caught Alaska sockeye salmon skewers with pineapple. This is great for anyone who loves that sweet and savory combo. This can be grilled up within 10 minutes. My second recipe is wild Alaska sablefish with miso and sesame greens. If you have not tried sablefish already, I highly encourage you to give it a try. It is rich, buttery, silky. It will melt right in your mouth, and it's rich in those omega-3 fatty acids like our salmon is. And this fish can be grilled within about 5 minutes, and you can serve it with these sauteed garlicky ginger greens that just take another 5 minutes in a pan.
And it seems so quick and easy. Many people get the misconception that, listen, it may take me a minute to get this thing right, but the reality is you can have this done in a few minutes, huh?
Absolutely. So quick and easy.
So for people out there who are trying to get more information, what's the best way they go about finding out the best information, the most reliable information?
So for more information, recipe tips, cooking tips, you can visit alaskaseafood.org.
And how popular, should I say right now, is wild and sustainable? I mean, in a lot of conversations that I'm having, I'm hearing a lot of people talk more and more about wild and sustainable, and definitely Alaska is right at the forefront.
Absolutely, it is.
Well, I want to tell you so much. Thank you so much for being with us about the wild and sustainable. We certainly got some recipes out there that we can share with our viewers. And listen, Roxana, I mean, if people want to know, you can get it done in like 10 minutes or less. I think that's a win-win. And I'll give you some final thoughts before we leave.
All right, thank you. Well, wild-caught seafood from Alaska is available year-round, fresh, frozen, or canned. So look out for salmon, cod, halibut, sablefish, pollock, and crab, because you can find it at local stores.
All righty, Roxana, thank you so much for being with us. And want to let our viewers know, if you want more information, go ahead and visit the website, alaskaseafood.org. Well, we come to the end of our show today. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us, and most of all, you, the viewer, for tuning in. If you missed any part of today's show, catch the Recablecast on Optimum's Channel 67, Verizon Files Channel 2133, or watch us anytime on the web at BronxNet.org. Of course, you can catch a brand new episode of Open with Rena Valentine on Friday. This wraps up this episode. For us, I am Daren Jaime saying make sure you keep this channel wide open. Take care. God bless.